All right, so we're about to review this 2021 Bmw M3. I've been living with it for a day. I tried to do a review yesterday and I just, was kind of feeling the car out. Wasn't really sure yet. So we're gonna start it. It's gonna be a little cold start, so we'll get a video of it. That cold start was a lot quieter than I thought it was going to be, especially in my parking garage. So we're going to get some coffee this morning. I've been with the car for a little bit, so we'll see how it drives and feels, and go from there. All right, let's see how this thing feels. Got a little sideways there. I like that. So we're sitting. This car is Alpine white. The M3, so the regular M3s, the new ones, the G body they call it, the G80, their reference code that they're using for these things now. These cars now, they come in manual, the M3s come in manual. The competition package now, those only come in DCT. So if you want a DCT in a competition, well, that's the only way it comes. So if you want a manual, you're gonna have to get a regular M3. They don't come in, they can come in DC. The regular M3 can come in DCT and manual, but the only way you're going to get the manuals in the regular. So next thing is the shifting. The shifting is buttery smooth, but it doesn't feel like a sports car type of shifting. It's like very buttery smooth. So sometimes for me personally, I like the notchy kind of shifting where it's notchy, like you can kind of feel what gear it's actually in. Like I just went from 5th to 6th. I thought I was going to go to 6th. They went down to 4th right now. So I think that's a little bit something you have to get used to. I've been living with the car for now 24 hours, so I'm starting to get more and more used to it. I do love the drive settings though. I love how you can configure anything you want in any which way, whether if you want it more aggressive for Sport Plus, or you want to downsize the aggressiveness to like a comfort or just a sport level. 473 horsepower, and I like the interior, the way it's set up, but there's plastic here on the dash, and I'll kind of point it out when we do an inside walk around, and there's just some things about this car that doesn't feel M3-esque. It doesn't give me that same drivability kind of feel that I enjoy from an M3, which is that fun that an M3 brings you, that track fun, that very screaming, like, let's see, it just doesn't make me feel like some of those older cars felt, where you had this screaming, naturally aspirated sound, which I get it, we're going with the times. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, they should have done this or that, but what I am saying is I believe a lot of these manufacturers aren't listening to the people that are buying these cars anymore. I believe a lot of these manufacturers aren't listening to the people that are spending their hard-earned money to buy cars like this, or wanting these cars to be a certain way, and these manufacturers not listening to the customer, right? And one of the biggest downfalls is, let's just be real, is the design of this car. And quite frankly, the design of this car is not necessarily appealing to the masses. Like, I thought it would grow on me, but it hasn't. Like yesterday I did a review yesterday too, and I did a review yesterday on the Mustang Cobra R, and I was texting my buddy who let me review both cars because they're both his, and I texted him, I said the Cobra R is funner to drive than the M3. And I thought to myself, how am I saying that the Cobra R is funner to drive than the M3? That's crazy. I thought I wanted to buy this car at one point. Me and my buddy were talking about how, my buddy Martin and I were talking about, oh my gosh, you should buy an M3, and I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to review one. Maybe hold off on buying it and let's see, because we have similar kind of tastes in cars, and drivability wise, we are enthusiasts. We pay attention to these things where, what are the manufacturers doing? How are they trying to engage with the customer to make them feel more connected to the car, to make them feel more of an enthusiast type of ownership, rather than, hey, I just bought a car off the showroom floor and, you know, we slapped it with some parts, we changed the design, and we didn't really care what you guys thought as a customer, right? So this is the biggest problem in car manufacturing these days. These manufacturers are not listening to their customers, right? And it's unfortunate, because we are the ones that spend the money. We are the ones that track these cars. We are the ones that put out free content for them to, you know, for us at the track, driving it, whatever, for people that are making some videos on it. And it's unfortunate. So the next things next is, I do love these M1 and M2 buttons on the steering wheel. It's really quick to adjust whatever you want to adjust. And this car does have rev match in Sport Plus mode, which everything's set to Sport Plus mode right now. It doesn't have rev match, but let's hear. I will turn it to this regular Sport mode that still has rev match. So it seems these people are all going slow. It's 60 mile an hour. So now I'll downshift from fourth to third. Second. That's that rev match right there. Red line's right around 7,200 RPM or so. But the power is smooth. The power is very linear in this car. The power just comes on very smooth, and it doesn't feel like a turbo car at all. It doesn't feel like a car that's turbo, like where the power just comes on abruptly and not so smoothly. And I like the way the power comes on so smooth. I feel like this car, which I know it does, I don't even feel like it, because I used to have an E46 M3 and it had it, so I know for sure this car probably does too, is it has a clutch delay valve. And that clutch delay valve is very interesting. I feel like a lot of people do a clutch delay valve delete, and it's to make it so the car is smoother at lower RPMs, and when you're letting the clutch out from like first to second, second to third, it doesn't skip around like to the average driver. But the clutch delay valve just makes things so hesitant and delayed between shifts that it takes away from that bang bang shifting that you kind of want from a manual car, because you're already losing time on the shifts because it's manual. You're losing even more time not having the car go into gear like soon. Like, see, that hesitation there was not me. That was just the car going from second to third gear. So third to fourth is fine, but from the second to the third, first to second, second to the third, you could really feel it. The car sounds pretty good. I wish it was a little bit louder from the factory. It's pretty quiet though. It just sounds smooth. You hear a lot more engine noise. It loves to get squirrely though, which I like. That's one thing I do like. That is a little fun, kicking it sideways a little bit like that. You have to get used to this car's shifter, I feel like, because the shifter sits pretty high up. It doesn't, you know, your arm is like parallel with the center console, so your arm is like sliding on the center console. I feel like that's got to take some time to get used to. It is not something that just, you know, you're going to get used to it right away. Because, you know, yesterday I wasn't used to it. I didn't really want to do the full review yesterday because I'm like, you know what, I'm not giving enough time for the car. It's a different type of car where I feel like you got to get more used to it. So now that I'm more used to it, it's a lot better, but still, it's weird just dragging your arm along the center console like that to do your shifts. And you can't put your arm up like this, really, because it's a weird angle. So maybe if I'm, you know, put the seat up higher, it's a little better driving position. I am disappointed in it. Drives great. You know, it handles good. It puts the power down very well. It's fun. The drivability wise, it's great. But the plastic inside, the design, the way that they made things cheap, they shouldn't have made. cheap like that. I mean, you know, this is all down to the experience, right? Because a driving experience, you experience all aspects of the car, and I feel like that's what I was mentioning earlier on manufacturers not really paying attention to the experience of the car as much as they should anymore, and that's truly unfortunate for true enthusiasts. The power really does come on smooth, and that is a big benefit too if you're going to end up tracking a car like this, or, you know, even merely puttering around on the streets. And I think that's a big deal because you don't have that random wheel spin that you get, or that random losing traction in second gear trying to, you know, get it cut or get onto a main road or get on, you know, entering on the freeway or something like that. They've really done a good job of the power delivery of this car, and I do love the new dash. It's amazing on how the RPMs go backward. Kind of reminds me of Aston Martin there. But I'm about to get some coffee. We're about to stop. We'll do a walk around of the car, and then, you know, we'll talk a little bit more about how the car looks. The MSRP on this specific vehicle, which is $72,000 and some change. It's an Alpine white, and it's very standard. The only thing it has is the parking package, which is the parking sensors and the backup camera. So other than that, the car's it's very low option. It's nothing crazy. It has steel brakes. So we'll do a little walk around of this thing here in a second when I park, and then we'll go from there. So now that I got my morning coffee, so 406 horsepower, 473 horsepower, 406 foot-pounds of torque. This Alpine White's super nice. I love the huge chrome aluminum exhaust tips. I don't know, see this front end styling. It's either you like it or you don't. And quite frankly, I'm not 100% too sure. Now let's hop inside real quick. So when I was talking about this fake plastic stuff, this is kind of what I meant. This is beautiful. I love this Harman Kardon cover for the speaker. But now you have this pleather, hard leather, rubber. This is all plastic cover. This is all plastic here. And this is weird. I've seen this, but it's just driving a car with it for a while. It's just interesting. It's really first world problems here, guys. This is real leather. This is nice. This is not leather. This is something else. Plastic. And then you have this, which is, I've always frowned about when they did this on cars, this really thin, soft plastic. It's because it scratches so easy. Same here. So let's start this thing up. The gauges are badass. I do love how the gauges are set up in this thing. And then you have your different drive modes here, the M2, the M1. M2 is right now, you tap it twice, it confirms. It's configured to more of like a light sport mode. This is all full, like everything's sport, exhaust is loud, etc. Traction's off. So the display is really beautiful too. I really like this display. It's clean. It's so hard to pick up on camera too, because it's so that it's got to be like a nice LED screen of some sort. I'm not sure what they put in there in terms of the actual screen, if it's like an OLED like some of these new TVs. Here's the MSRP on this car, so you could snapshot it, take a picture of it. So Alpine White, not many other extra options besides the parking assist package, it looks like. Otherwise the car just sits at a mere $72,995. And you know, let's see the trunk space in this thing. I'm curious to pop the trunk. Let's check it out. The brake's still on. Let's go see the trunk real quick. Oh, it's open. Wow, tons of trunk space. Tons of trunk space in here. So I don't know, you know, if I were to buy this car, I'm not really sure. I don't think I would. I was so hyped on buying this car when I was talking about it with my buddies, and now I'm not 100% too sure if I want to buy a car like this. I just think I might, you know, if I could pick a substitute, maybe a C63 AMG, maybe an older M3 CS, because the older M3 CS looks amazing. Maybe something along those lines I would possibly get. I don't know if I would potentially, I don't know if, I couldn't pull the trigger on this, is what I'm trying to say it in the nicest way possible. But, you know, for somebody that wants a new car, that this is the only car they can have, they want a manual, they want 4 doors, maybe for kids in the back, they want to track it every once or twice every year, they want reliability, they want good gas mileage. I mean, this car checks a lot of boxes. Now that I'm saying these things, it checks a lot. So all in all, personally for me, not the car, but it handles great, it's nimble. This thing would be so fun to drive on the track. Oh my gosh, this thing would be awesome to drive on the track. So I would love to kind of explore it in a different way. I would love to try a DCT transmission too. I feel like that would feel totally different than a manual, of course. So I don't know, maybe we'll run into somebody that'll let us drive a DCT new M3 or something like that one of these days. But anyways, have a good day. I hope you guys enjoyed it, watched it, you know, maybe you got some value out of the review. And yeah, thanks. Before this review ends, let's take it on a couple nice corners here. Let's see kind of what it feels like. I want you to kind of see before I, you know, shut this review off. Some nice dash shots and whatnot. A little spin there in second gear. Hit them kind of nice, so let's see. Hopefully the tires are warmed up enough. Don't want to push it too hard. Very planted. Wow, these brakes are insanely good though. Woo. These brakes feel great. This is what this car is meant for. This is what this car is really meant to do. I love that shift light. Stable. Feels great. Like, look at this. Feels amazing. Brakes work so good too. Just on point. Brake feel in this car feels awesome. So anyways, a little quick rip to end the video there for you guys. I figured I'd stop one more time and get some nice video of the outside of the car for you guys before ending it off. I was in a crowded parking lot earlier, so didn't get a chance to get a good one, but hopefully this gives you an idea on, you know, the car, what it looks like, some of the presence on the street. Okay, so I'm doing my review this morning on the M3, and Mike Tyson runs by me. How funny was that? Let's see.